Hey guys, Johnny here. Yeah, so eFootball 2025 dropped. Um, some changes have been made. New players have dropped, sorry, and yeah, just in general, just like some changes. From my understanding, this is again like it's the same game, but with again just improvements. I think the direction Konami is going in is making the game as simple as possible, as user friendly as possible in terms of being able to get you ready to play the game as quick as possible. I have noticed that. I've noticed now when it comes to player progression, you can um, you can now auto level your players, as well as auto. Um, if I just show you with this new Messi, you can now edit the stats of the players. This is the recommended, and let's say for instance, I started making some changes and something. I can now restore the version I was on previously. So this is the version I was on right now. So let's say I save this. So now if I go to player progression and I mess around with it and I look at the build and I put some points here, maybe like something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I don't like it anymore. I can now restore the version I was on before. So they've added some little changes to make it user friendly, and I do like that feature. Let me just reset the Messi. And yeah, so also they have added booster progression. I think additional boosters to certain players. So now this Messi can have a booster crafting. I will explain this in another video, just a short video. But yeah, long story short, the booster progression points on the left side and the booster progression on the right side. With the one booster point you can see in the top right, which means I can randomly assign, as you can see, I can randomly assign any of these boosters, right? So any of these boosters can be applied to this Messi. However, if I click the one on the left, you need 100 of the booster tokens, as you can see, out of the 328 I have, to specifically select one of the boosters from this list. So you could decide to put aerial on your Messi, free kick on your Messi, agility, crossing, hard work, or you can put anything. Whereas the one on the right is a random one. So yeah, that's the difference between the two. The random one only costs you one of the green. Let's say green booster tokens. Whereas if you want to manually select which one you want yourself, it requires 100 of the white booster tokens. Now, in order to get the booster tokens, from what I can see, you can get them from events. But the quickest way, which is obviously the money way, is to release special cards. So cards you don't need. So if I release, for instance, if I release a Joe Linton, can I release him here? I can't. So if I release, let's do sort by signing. So if I release a, let's release this. Let's release Tielemans. If I release Tielemans, as you can see, I get 4 select booster tokens, which is what you need to manually select the booster you want. You need 100 of these to pick one. So you can do that. That's the quickest way, which is obviously expensive, because or if you have players that you don't need anymore, you can discard them, release them. So technically, if you have a card and you don't want a legacy transfer, you can discard them to get the booster. Another set of cards that can use boosters are these new ones like the Lewandowski and the Sane. As you can see, they've got like a grayed out booster slot, so these cards can be given booster skills from what I can see. But I have heard the boosters are +1, but I don't think that's the case. It should be +2. It should be +2. Oh, and you cannot give your old cards boosters. It's only from the new cards from what I can see. These old cards cannot be given boosters. You can only give boosters to players that have a grayed out booster slot on the icon of the card. So as I mentioned before, Lewandowski, as you can see, has a grayed out area. Messi has one grayed out area, so you can give him a booster. But anyone else like York or Di Roberto, they already have a booster slot. As you can see, it's literally highlighted blue or green, whatever color you can see. But yeah, so you can't give those cards boosters. Now, what else did they introduce? So quickly take a look at the patch notes. Right. Gameplay. I think that's about it. Gameplay is the next one. I don't think there's anything else needed here. Let me just check. Right. So with gameplay, I have noticed there have been a lot of changes to the gameplay. So I have played a few games. So I'll just start with the major difference has to be the dribbling and defending, I would say. Now, with the dribbling, physical contact seems to be a very, very big factor when it comes to dribbling now, because with the higher physical contact, the better your player is at keeping the ball, because now they've taken off the manual shield button and now it's contextual. So if your player has higher physical contact, he's able to put more of a fight when trying to control the ball against players. And then finesse dribbling has been added. Because before, to do finesse dribbling, you needed to slightly move your left stick as little as possible to activate animation. But with this patch, it seems that they've added a dedicated button to the finesse dribbling. And I am going to show you some clips of the finesse dribbling. So as you can see, with the finesse dribbling, you can delay the game a lot slower. You can delay the game a lot slower compared to previous iterations of the game. You can slow the game further. You can combo finesse dribbling, as you're going to see here. I use a sharp touch to beat my defender, and then right here, I'm going to use a sharp touch. I'm just going to slow this down. When Jesus gets into the box, I use a finesse dribble to slow down for a split second and then tap the sprint button in the other direction to create a sharp touch into space to set myself up. Here is a good example of sharp touch and finesse dribbling, as you can see. So I'm using sharp touch into sprint. Seems to be very, very effective. Now back to the patch notes. Also, I will say I have noticed feints have been very, very effective, which is basically fake shots. I have noticed fake shots are very, very consistent now. It's not like you don't get like a weird slowdown animation as much as you used to. I have noticed as well, when you are sprinting with the ball and you want to knock the ball on, there has been a change. As you can see right here, the dribbling speed has been increased when performing a knock on, which is basically a sharp touch, to sprint. I have noticed that. I also have noticed with the heading has been I'd say buffed. I believe heading is very useful now. So if you have tall strikers, or you have strikers focused on the box that are really good at heading or good in the air, or if you spun for the bullet header Ronaldo, I think, or some phenomenal finishing. I believe heading is very, very good this year. Now, this is my favorite part of the patch right now, and that is defending. Defending right now, it seems that they brought back inertia. Inertia before, what would happen was, if you are running down the wing as a winger facing a defender, because you are the guy on the ball, the defender doesn't know exactly when you're going to cut in or make a different turn. So you technically have the advantage. The only thing a defender can do is predict where you're going to go or give themselves enough of a gap to know where you're going to go. So there's like a little space between you and the defender. Whereas if I show you, I'm just going to pick a random clip, right? So I'm gonna pick this clip, the Jesus got. Media gallery. Oh, I also didn't show another example of this is another example of the finesse dribbling before we go into it.
Intriguing to watch. Plenty of highlights to show you during the break. So we're just settling back into this second. Shapes to shoot.
So
well, he got rid because he was. That's a good ball out. Well, he got. That's a good.
Is this another example of finesse dribbling? I believe this is. Yeah, this is an example of the strength I was talking about. Saka has 70 physical contact, I believe, and he was able to hold off the winger with the new contextual dribbling. So we're just going to play this back slowly. As you can see here, Saka uses his strength to hold off his winger, and he's upset and begins to foul me, but that's just the way of the game. Now, this is what I was talking about with the inertia. So as you can see, Jesus gets the ball. I take it past the defender. Now here, in the previous iterations of the game, this defender should not close me down this quickly. I mean, it would close me down quickly because he knew the game at the previous patch would allow your defender to run at your attacker and not get punished. Whereas people like me who stuck to the inertia method of keeping the gap between the defender and the winger, the decent gap which should allow you to recover as a defender. Yeah, that's what I normally do. But this guy is still on the no inertia defending. So what they do is they hold X on the controller, or they just run at you without any punishment. But now it seems controlled sprint defending is back. So what I mean by this is, depending on how long or how much you hold your R2 sprint button will determine how far your defender runs or recovers when defending. So again, people that use R2 to sprint, the defending wouldn't affect you that much because you're not fully holding sprint when you're defending. I hope you're not. Or if you hold matchup as well, matchup would be good from here. Matchup should be used. But yeah, if you just slightly hold sprint, you can control your reactions to defend, like cutting inside. But for people who use R1 to defend, they are really gonna struggle defending against people who cut inside or do a body feint to get inside to open up for a finesse. They are really gonna struggle because R1, there is no control sprint. You're literally holding sprint to the maximum with R1. So as you can see, so I'm just gonna slow this back down again. You're gonna see what happens when the defender tries to change his direction to cut back inside. Boom. You can see, because he's holding R1, there's no time for him to react to cut inside. So like in this situation, I'm already gone. Like there's nothing you can do. He can't quickly turn because inertia is a thing now. So you have to be aware of that when defending. I have noticed that on the patch. I have also noticed that blocker is a must on all forms of defenders. fullbacks is a must. Put blocker on your fullbacks, put blocker on your centre backs, put blockers on your DMFs, because now I've noticed with the patch you need blocker to be able to attempt to block, able to attempt to block and win like blocks in the air from like, for instance, if a winger is trying to whip the ball into a striker, if your fullback does not have blocker, he might not get the ball or try to block the shot with without the skill. So blocker is a must. I've noticed that. I've also noticed that when as I said it here, when trying to win the ball or from behind, so if you hold X, I think if you hold X from behind, your defender aggressively tries to push the opponent, like to try and win the ball back as aggressive as possible. That's why I've noticed with if you hold X, it seems to be really effective this year to chasing down someone using X. It seems to be very effective. I have noticed that. Goalkeepers, I haven't really noticed much with goalkeepers. I have seen there are some patches though. I've noticed keepers make more saves as well. Also I noticed. That's what I've noticed. I have noticed that again, they do stop close range shots a lot more. So I advise, if you have strikers who don't have chip shot control, you could maybe put that on there. That would be very good. So also it seems that finally possession and out wide have been buffed. I have noticed that. I have noticed on possession, I have noticed that players now make runs or now move more fluidly into space. I believe this is a good clip. As you can see, I'm on possession right now, but now you can see my Havertz. Before, what would happen is sometimes on the patch, my Havertz would make a run and then stop, and then like, but now it seems that they've fixed the AI. So on possession as well, your players can now run in behind when needed to. As you can see, Havertz ran into space, still going forward when needed to. So possession has been buffed. I have noticed that. I have noticed also now you know players who were always sweaty and would use their sub tactic. I have noticed now that if you switch to the sub tactic, when you go to the pause menu, you will now see the opponent's sub tactic if they are using that sub tactic. So if someone is using the sub tactic, you can now see the sub tactic in the pause menu. So that is a very, very good addition as well. So good to Konami. Again, these are fixes that I think are really, really beneficial to the game. Was there anything else in the patches that I think? Yeah, I've already mentioned, as you can see, I mentioned the possession style. As you can see on the thing, it does confirm that they have adjusted that. Yeah, that's the patch in general. Now, my problem with this method of gameplay, or this style of gameplay they're going for right now, is they are slowly transitioning, or not slowly, but now we're in the big stages of, is this game really going to be a mobile friendly game on console? Because it seems now that it might get to a point where mobile players might be able to just plug and play a controller. And yeah, because I have noticed, like I said before, shielding is now contextual, so now you have to use a button. I don't believe there was a shield. There is a shielding button on mobile games, on mobile eFootball, so that could probably explain why they've taken out the shielding button, and also why they have implemented a dedicated button to finesse dribbling. Because before you had to slightly move the analog stick, which required skill, because you have to have a certain kind of precision to use the left analog stick. So that's why people like Rock Chalk really excelled in using the left stick, Whereas now there's a dedicated button that everyone else can use it, so it's no longer a skill gap anymore. And again, I'm guessing mobile users will have access to that feature. That's probably why they've done it. And as you can see, they have kind of fixed fake shots to the point where it's very usable now compared to previous years. So if I had to predict what would happen next, the next feature that they will remove is super cancel. For the game to be mobile friendly so that you can play cross-platform, I think Konami is slowly or will eventually remove super cancel. Because that's the only explanation I have for them fixing fake shots. It looks like super cancel might be the next feature to be removed. But yeah. So at the moment, there isn't. I'd say the game is completely fair to everyone to the point where even if you are not the best at dribbling, you have a button that helps you slow down the game as much as you'd like. You have a contextual shielding, which now does this shielding for you. It's no longer a matter of tapping shield at the right time. It's now a method of positioning yourself in a way to activate the shielding animation. I will say, in summary, wingers with physical contact, as you can see, this Bukayo Saka has 71 physical contact, is a big must on the wingers, especially against people like Araujo. But if the fullback does not have physical contact, you will really exploit their fullbacks. So I would suggest if you have a fullback, please start putting physical contact on your fullbacks because they will get absolutely destroyed by traditional Premier League wingers like Saka or who else is strong like Traore. They get bullied on the wing. And wingers seem to be really effective, as I mentioned, especially now on possession players. Prolific wingers are now insane. Any form of winger is insane on possession right now, especially because now players are moving into space. They know when to get in behind now. So, yes, goal poachers are great now, but I think maybe it might be a time to bring deep line forwards back into the game. As you saw in my previous clip, people like Kai Havertz were moving well. He's a deep line forward. He knew when to drop into space to make space for the wingers. I did notice that quite a bit. So Fox in a box, maybe deep line forwards might be the way to go. I haven't tried Fox in the box Haaland yet in a while, so I'll probably try it again. I have the CR7, I'll try him. But if you have the new CR7, the Showtime one with the heading, this might be the game for you because right now, especially because they've fixed normal heading, I don't even know what the bullet header would look like. That might be insane. But yeah, so key summary notes. Number one, ball retention has been buffed. Space creation has been buffed. Dribbling again has been buffed when I mean buffed, I mean buffed to the point where you can now create space and beat your defender, and it's rewarding compared to previous iterations of the game. Defending has been slightly nerfed. You now require certain skills. Blocker is a must. Blocker and sliding tackle are a must on your fullbacks, centre backs, especially your fullbacks. To block early crosses, you need blocker. Your centre backs need blocker. To make sliding blocks, you need slide tackle and blocker. Remember that. Now, in terms of what I've seen so far, would I give the patch? I would give the patch a solid 7.5 right now. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. I will stream later today, and I will make a dedicated video on the boosters. If you want me, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I have not been spinning for any of the legends. I have not spun for legends in almost 6 months. If you want me to spin for the Neymar pack or the Messi pack, I will. However, I don't think I will spin for them personally. I will spin for that Dino though. Dino is a momentum dribbler, so I will spin for him. But yeah, so those are the notes of the game. If you are a person who enjoys waiting for players to make runs into space, this game is for you. If you are patient when defending, I mean, you don't rush into tackles, you jockey, create some space, this game is for you. In general, if you're a patient player, this game is for you. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and peace.